audio on, and we're gonna match the sound.
We did it. We're in.
We are in.
They hear us.
They hear us.
MSG 17 shows.
17 shows.
Sold out tour, baby.
All right.
Full dick out. No marking.
I got this whole sugared, baby.
Ooh.
Expensive. All right.
Okay.
Do you wanna introduce us to the girls?
Welcome. My name is Malcolm.
My name is Kenny.
And this is Emergency Contact.
Wait, we can do it better together.
Can you do better together?
And this is
Emergency Contact.
Why are we calling it Emergency Contact?
It's called Emergency Contact because years ago when I first laid eyes with this man, I knew, I was like, this man is going to be the person that I put on all my forms and documents as my emergency contact. So every time I go to the dentist, and anytime I apply for my apartment, home loan, whatever it says relative, I go, Kendall Morgan. And they always love to ask, like, relationship. And it don't mean shit to me. I don't care. Brother.
I'm going to show up, and they're going to be like, you? I said, my ID matches that one. Where is he at?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly. And I'm sure all of you have
right.
an emergency contact. Someone that's not your partner, not your family member, but someone that you've deemed, like, this is the person that has the password to my iPhone.
It's up here. I was about to say it.
He is the only one. He is the only one. He's the only one that has the password to my phone. The only one. And I have his. And
I will be selling it to the highest bidder. I am rather cheap. I have a lot of debt, guys.
I do you one better. If you put a full tank of gas in my car, I give you his password.
Mal,
how you been?
I've been good. We haven't seen each other in a minute because you've been traipsing around all over every which way.
Me?
You?
I've been out. I've been out.
I've been at my house. I can't afford to go nowhere else. I can barely afford to go to Target down the street.
I don't think I'm doing a lot of pride, a lot of like the gay rah-rah.
Yeah.
Like we've done, it's the same parties. Different DJs, same parties, same people. We've done it.
$100.
$200. Ooh, we were talking about
They start charging a cover at Rise.
November.
Right. Oh. If you think I'm gonna pay $20 to go to the Twink Adoption Center of Hell's Kitchen,
that I get in for free regular.
Last week even, I was just here.
The tickets alone, they started selling those Pride tickets in November.
Out of control.
In November. November of last year, they were selling Pride tickets. So
you bought one. It's actually predatory because they know that gays don't plan well. No. And they get FOMO, and so they know that they're gonna spend way more.
I've known the girls spend $200-$300 on one ticket.
3-digit numbers.
On one ticket. And they would do it.
Not in my Christian house.
Honey.
Also?
We're here today because a lot of you don't know that, but every Tuesday I do this series. So every Tuesday on Instagram I do a series where I ask a question, I pose a question, and then I leave it to y'all to give me your opinions and thoughts and on the perspective of the question. The best way.
How about? No, that was a good one.
Okay,
right.
Go.
Go. How long did you stay at a job you hated? I've been a frequent contributor to the series.
Yes.
And I've been a consistent viewer of the series. And I think what I find so interesting about it is this idea that it gives people something to like talk about. Because a lot of these questions you collect from people, you collect from friends, you get ideas, you think about stuff, whatever. And it becomes this thing where like everyone starts to sound off, and baby, with the anonymity of not knowing who said what when it gets
they
reposted.
Don't know. I don't say anything. You
never dox anybody, but whenever them answers start to come out, you're like, we felt bold today.
You'd be surprised the people that respond and send things in, the things that I see, I'm like, man, y'all are going to hell. Like one by one.
You smelling like smoke. How long did you stay at a job you hated?
How long have I stayed at a job I hated?
I can tell you how long. I stayed at one of mine. 3 weeks.
The one?
I quit that bitch.
I haven't had that many jobs. I really haven't had that many jobs. I worked at Express for like 5 years.
You know they closed the Express in
Times Square. Closed it down.
Shut down. No warning, no note, nothing.
Because I worked at Express when I was in Alabama. So I worked there all throughout college. I hated the job. I love the clothes. I love my coworkers. I hated the job. When I transferred the job here, I think I worked at the job for like a month. And then I remember, I was like, oh yeah, I hate this fucking job. And so I was like, and I'm here, I moved, it's time to quit. So I quit. But it had been like 5 years.
Right, that's a long time.
There hasn't been I haven't really had that many jobs that I hated.
I have a very low tolerance for being even the slightest bit uncomfortable or unhappy. And so I think once I decide that I hate a job, it's quick. With a quickness. Now, granted...
Okay, well, you've been at many a restaurant.
I have, right. Restaurants in New York are kind of turn or burn like that, though, where it's like, there's enough of them. It was during the pandemic especially. Everybody was so desperate for stuff.
Right. Stayed 3 years because I had my dad's voice in my head saying, is anyone else going to pay you?
Damn. That's real.
Wait a minute.
I would recommend to this person seeking therapy because that's a statement.
Is anyone else gonna pay you?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
I get we're from the South. We kind of have this idea of a lot of time longevity. Stay where my mom has worked at the same job for 33 years, and I asked her, she can retire now, and I said, are you gonna retire? And she said, no, I don't hate it.
I think, but I do think that culture's changing though. I know a lot of my corporate friends now, honey, 1 year. 1 year, January, if they're not making the money that they should or where they want to be, honey, they flee ship quick.
In and out.
So someone said less than a year, COVID, job market was crazy. So,
can I say something? That's a bad answer. It's boring. It doesn't move me. It
isn't meant to make you laugh. But okay, you stayed at a job 1 year. It was COVID.
Okay. I
stayed at a job 9 months because of COVID, and I really enjoyed it. Well, fine. Fuck that. Damn. Whoever you are, fuck you. Moving on. Someone said 10 months. It was COVID, and the market was dog shit. So you're gonna give people grace, Kenny. It's COVID.
But that's okay. But that's.
Where were we working? But how dare you turn your nose up?
I didn't say that I didn't hate that job. You want to know why I didn't hate that? You want to know why I didn't hate that job? Because it was down the street from my house. Walkable. I would be clocking in at 9 in the morning, and I would wake up at 8:53, and I would still be 2 minutes early
on time.
Oh my gosh!
There was someone at that job because Kenny lived close, but there was someone that lived even closer, across the street.
Mm-hmm. And would still be late.
And he would still be late.
Every time.
He would still be late. And I said, baby, if I was HR, that son bitch would know peace. He would know peace. I would nail his ass.
I would take a stopwatch. I think he actually said that he lived close enough that the walkie-talkies still picked
in his
up,
apartment. Yeah.
And he would take one on his break so that he could hear if someone was calling for him after he'd been gone for his break too long. I did milk a 15-minute into about an hour and a 30 break once. Because I never called it in. I never said, I'm going on break. I just kind of disappeared.
For an hour and 15 minutes?
Yeah. No one noticed.
Okay. So, someone said less than a year at LA Fitness, my boss kept hitting on me, asking me to go to clubs with him.
That's an HR violation.
That's more than an HR violation.
I'm going to call up Mr. LA Fitness.
I'm going to call Mr. Fitness himself.
Mr. Fitness himself. And say, one of your employees is trying to fitness his something.
Yes! They're trying to fitness dick. So says less than a year at LA Fitness.
That's not bad. That's a year. A year is a long time.
A year is a long time.
What's that?
12 months. A year is a long time everywhere else except the New York City apartment.
Now, ain't that right? That is right. Especially considering how much it takes, to get into the apartment.
Right.
I swear to God.
Okay.
It would be easier
Open your eyes.
it would be easier to get on one of them little flights to space with Katy Perry and Gayle King.
It'd be easy to do that.
It would be easier to do that than get approved for an apartment in New York City. And then, all of a sudden, what you mean 12 months is up and I gotta pay you more in my security deposit? Don't piss me off.
Baby, 12 months in a New York City apartment flies by like that. What it took you to get the apartment, then move all your things into the apartment.
You gotta do that again.
And we'll do it again? I'd rather shit in my hands than clap. I would. Ain't no way to move all of this shit somewhere else. No. That's why you sign a lease in New York City for 2 years, just to be safe. If they are offering it, take it.
Yeah, I'd rather vote for Joe Biden again.
Than to sign a 1 year lease.
Than to sign a 1 year lease.
Sign a 1 year lease.
No, lock it down.
I was like, are you going somewhere next year?
You plan on sleeping somewhere?
You plan on sleeping somewhere? You plan on dying? You plan on moving? You going somewhere? If not, Myrtle, sign for 2. Sign for 2.
That's your pro tip of the day. Pro tip number 1, sign for 2 years.
Pro tip, if they're offering 2 years, take them 2 fucking years.
Take it.
Someone said 12 hours.
Oh.
Went for orientation and never came back because of the vibes were off.
That's
I
real.
was also 21.
That's real. I would do that. I had one of my restaurant jobs I had for 2.5 weeks. I didn't even hate the job. I just was not making enough money, and I got another restaurant offered me to come work for them where I knew I would make more money, and I quit in an email 12 hours before my third shift.
There was a guy, so I told you about the job that I quit because I hated it for 5 years. There was a guy that worked with me in that Times Square location. His name was, I think.
No, don't shoot. I don't know if we can say people's names.
His first name?
Well, Diva, what is it? Is it something specific?
No.
Say his name's Matt.
Okay, Matt. So I'm working with Matt, and I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life. We were working together, and we had our little 15-minute break. So I went on mine. It was time for Matt to go on his. Matt went on his 15-minute break. If I ever see this legend again, I'll shake his hand. Matt went on his 15 break. Myrtle, he never came back.
Didn't even bother to clock out.
He never. I had never seen no shit like. He never came back. And everyone was, and I'm young. Like I had only been in New York probably 3-4 weeks. And when I saw this king level shit, they were like, "Have y'all seen Matt? Is Matt in the break room? Does anyone know what Matt is? Y'all, Matt was nowhere in the building."
And that man's name? Luigi Mangione.
I have not seen.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine?
Oh my God. Have you? I heard someone talk about someone they were at their job and someone was like, "I'm quitting. I'm never coming back," and then they clocked out. And I just imagine the anticlimactic of "I'm never seeing you again."
You know what? I can see it. You know what?
Fuck you.
Fuck you. I'll knock all this shit over. Boop, 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 blah. Finger. Kiss my ass. Knock all of this shit over. Or someone said I needed money and I was in college.
That don't count.
Girl, what's that? Girl, what's that mean? Whoa,
What does that mean? You out here sucking dick on the highway?
How long did you stay at a job you hated and why? I needed money and I was in college. Myrtle, what that mean?
Can I say something? If those of you who are watching begin to respond to these stories,
please.
Context. Story time. You got 3 lines worth of text you can use here. You can slide up.
You can slow down.
You can send more than one.
You don't gotta type fast and send it. Reread it.
Right.
Reread it. Reread what you wrote.
Because every single one of y'all thinks that you are the main character in your story. Now is your time. Don't be giving us no boring shit like
this. I don't know what this means.
I don't know what it means. Next.
Someone said, my girlfriend worked there with me. Where the hell is there? Anyway.
I don't believe in straight people. Next.
The work was fine, but my boss and pay were awful. Stayed because I love the students.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
That's sweet.
Isn't that?
That is sweet. When you get to heaven, whoever you are, when you get to heaven, you answer no questions. Elton John, Madonna, Moo.
Jesus is gonna hand you your crown
Personally. Here are your keys. Here are your crown. Someone said 6 years.
6 years.
6 years. Stayed there while I was going back to school. Glad I'm not working there anymore.
Now here's why I couldn't do that, and you know me well enough to know this is true. When I'm not having a good time,
everybody knows.
Everybody is gonna know, and not only is everybody gonna know, but if I don't start to have a good time, everybody else is also gonna start having a bad time.
Bad time.
And that is on purpose.
This girl mouth is quick, and she'll piss you off. If you don't know Kenny, some of the things that he would say might hit you wrong.
I applaud that for you, because I would get fired before I would stay willingly.
Now the job that we worked at, I was there.
You there a while. You there
2 years.
But you had insurance.
2 years. I had my insurance. I couldn't go nowhere. I had my insurance.
When you are over the age of 26,
baby, and
you get that Blue Cross Blue Shield card in your hand, it's hard to give it up.
Well, you know what? Not even 26. If you're on your insurance and you're 26, that means that you and your parents still get along. Me. When I moved out of the house, it was get it how you live. So I stayed at the job because I didn't have any insurance any other way. And so I stayed there for a long period of time because I needed the insurance because I was 23, 24.
Yeah, because before that, you was going to the Bronx to get your prep.
No.
You did that one time.
No, they sent me to the Bronx to get my COVID shot. So
I thought there was a day, because you were getting your prep shipped to you for a while.
Right.
And it got shipped like to the wrong post office or something.
In the Bronx.
And
right.
And it was in the Bronx, and you were like either about to leave town and you had to get it that day,
right.
or you were out or whatever.
Right.
And because I look as my emergency contact,
he has my location right
at all times. My day one sim number one over here.
Sim number one.
Back in her hooking days, I was like, "That's not your house."
That's a different episode. That's a different episode.
Stay tuned.
We're talking about work. Someone said going on 6 years now in retail, and because it pays well, and college and grad school is expensive.
I don't understand why you hate this though. I want to know the drama.
Yeah, what's in the retail job that you hate? But I mean, if it pays well,
I'll put up with a lot of shit.
Girl, I'll put up with a lot if you paying money.
If you pay me well, I'll keep my mouth shut. I can be bought. Again, not for a high price, and for the low price of $49.99, I will.
Won't even talk.
You can't pay me to keep my mouth shut.
Baby, I'll just be a body of home. Baby, I will cook, clean.
Oh, God.
Throw this hole around. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. To the next one. Someone said 5 months in college. I quit when they wouldn't sorry.
They wouldn't give PTO to see my sick grandmother. Now, that's valid. You gonna tell me that I'm not going? There ain't no job.
There ain't no job.
You tell me I can't go see my nana.
That's sick.
Cause if she dies when I'm on your clock, it's gonna become your problem.
I'll knock all this shit over. If that happened, cause you wouldn't let me leave, I'll knock all this shit. I would tear all this shit up.
Them shelves bolted down.
Oh. So I remember back at the job that we worked, there was a guy that he would always put in LOA, put in a leave of absence. He would always put one in, and it would always get approved.
Yeah.
And then we got this new boss, and the new boss stopped all of his LOAs. Well, he just kept calling out. Because if you call it out, you can't get fired. You can't get fired unless you come into the job. Let me tell you what this king was doing. This is during COVID. So in New York City, I didn't know this. In New York City, they were getting the COVID checks, right? I never got one of those. They were getting the COVID checks. He was getting unemployment because he was only working there a couple days a week. Genius. King level shit.
So he was getting
Myrtle.
He was like working under the threshold of unemployment, so he was getting his check from his job and unemployment.
But he was employed 40 hours a week. He was employed 40 hours a week. But he was calling out 2 or 3 days a week.
That's brilliant.
So technically, he was only working 2 or 3 days a week, getting the full COVID check and unemployment. When I tell you this is the smartest man.
Right.
He was 24, 25.
Living in 2080.
Baby.
I worked, before I moved to New York, I worked at Walmart for the summer before I moved to New York.
You worked at Walmart?
I did, Diva. I still have the vest.
You stole the vest.
I
stole my name tag for the job.
I didn't steal it. It was given to me. The name tag from Target, the one that's engraved.
Not you saying where we were.
We've already said it.
No, we didn't. Moving on.
The name tag of the place that we worked that's engraved with your name. It was not stealing it. They gave it to you.
I don't know if they gave it to us.
You can't. What they gonna do? Reuse it? They're gonna find another Mally to put that sticker on?
They could.
Anyway, I worked at Walmart, and they gave us the vest that was ours to keep, that I kept. And right before I left,
what you gonna do with it?
It's at my parents' house. I don't know. It's in my childhood closet. Right before I left, there was a COVID outbreak at the job. And so I went to go get tested. Now this was summer of 2020, so tests were taking 7 days to get back. And I had another week or two or whatever on my paycheck before I was moving. And Walmart had this thing where if you got exposed or if you had to call out because of COVID, you got paid for whatever hours you were scheduled but missed. So if you were scheduled for 40 hours, but you had a COVID positive diagnosis, you got paid for all 40 of those hours.
Right.
Because I had to call out, I was getting paid for those hours that I had worked. It was under their COVID leave. But my test came back as negative, so I just went back to work. Maybe I got paid for those hours twice.
Oh.
I
was like, wait.
I got my COVID relief check and I got my paycheck.
Hold on. Someone said, got through training, did 1 day out, was terrible, went home sick, never went back. And I said, not you wasting these folks' time.
I can't argue with that one.
We're not onboarding you and then you just up and leave. Have you ever onboarded somebody and then you took all this time, welcome, hello, here's the do's and the don'ts.
You maybe be nice to somebody.
They go thank you and then never come back?
Yes, many times. Excessively, more than I can even count or remember, to be quite honest with you.
Wait, maybe that was the last one.
Well, I told you. It's funny how if you listen to me, see how she don't listen?
You know what? I didn't think it was the last one. I listen.
Acting like I'm talking out of my ass or something.
Most of the time.
And that's my business.
Most of the time. Twice yesterday.
Not you putting my business out, my close friend's business out here.
Talking.
Girl.
We did it.
That was our first one.
Was our first one.
What do we think?
I like it.
It's fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun. We have I do want to know though in the comments below what
do you want?
What do you want? How long did you stay at a job you hated and why? I do want to hear about that. And then anyone that we hear in the comment next week, the next episode, we'll bring those up before we get onto our new series topic. Well, so where can they find you, Kenny?
They can find me on all platforms: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Twitter, I will dead name that bitch till the day that she fucking dies. And you want to know what? I had a friend that I saw yesterday, and they were like, "You shouldn't be on Twitter anymore because it's Nazi racist propaganda now." And he was like, "Bitch, I was here first. We made this bitch interesting." I was here. The only reason anyway. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Kendall W. Morgan.
Yes.
You can also find me on Venmo at Kendall-Morgan-NYC. Help a bitch out. Life's expensive. Malcolm, where can they find you?
You can find me at Instagram at Mally, MALLY 2 underscores and
H. If you know anybody who enjoyed this and would like to produce us, we spent a good hour trying to set this shit up, and I hope it worked.
We did. We had to eat.
We did.
What do you want to eat? You want a wings?
We're getting wings.
I don't want no damn wings. We'll get wings.
All right. See y'all next week.
Bye.
Mwah.